SlapViper.
Tag team wrestling is a foundation for a great promotion, a great just wrestling event in general. Tag team wrestling can really add to an already great show and just an already great roster, an already great presentation for a wrestling show. Tag team wrestling has been a large staple of this great sport and has often led to some of the greatest matches of all time. Today, I will rank my top 10 favorite tag teams of all time. A bit of a disclaimer with this, I will say. This is pretty much my top 5 for men and women, with women being the evens teams and men being the odd teams. I know it's a little bit convoluted and a bit clickbaity. I apologize for that, but YouTube loves top 10s. Forgive me. Let's continue. Number 10, Team 200 kg. If you have watched my YouTube channel for a while now, you know how much I love powerhouse wrestlers, and Team 200 kg is no different. Chihiro Hashimoto and Yu started wrestling together as a team in 2019, and through all these years, became one of the greatest teams in modern tag team wrestling. Hell, just having a critically acclaimed match just yesterday as of recording this against Mio Momono and Yuriko Oka in Sendai, where they picked up their record-breaking 4th Sendai Girls Tag Team Championship in the process. As of recording, they hold 3 championships at the same time, holding the AAAW and the AJPW 6-man Tag Team Championships with Shuji Ishikawa, along with those Sendai tag titles I was talking about earlier. This year and the last few years, for both Yu and Chihiro Hashimoto, have proven to be one of the best years, some of the best years for them, and also proven that they're one of the best teams going due to their exciting offense, their match quality, and the consistency of how well they function as a team. Number 9, Bang Bros, aka Bang and Matthews. I'm calling them Bang Bros for this. Cry me a river. Since 2019, August Matthew and Davey Bang have graced the American independent circuit and have been quite successful as a pair, winning many championships and finding their biggest success as champions with the Black Label Pro Tag Team Championships, when they defeated a team that will show up a bit later on this list, and reigned for over 500 days with incredible matches along the way against teams like Highlight Reel, Space Pirates, Twisted Flip, Miracle Generation, and Latinos Most Wanted, who won the belts from them on their 3rd attempt, which gave us this reaction.
1, 2, 3, yes! Yes! Yes!
Bang Bros are a combination of high-paced, flippy-ish wrestling that I love, with a great flair of letting themselves have fun in that ring, always leading to one of the best matches on the card. They compete in many promotions like GCW, BLP, PWR, and even got to wrestle on AEW and ROH these last 2 years. And honestly, for everything that they've done and also how nice they've been, not only just to me, but to other fans, I've heard fans say a lot of great things about them. Bang Bros have earned this spot. Number 8, Daydream. This team is what happens when you put 2 psychos together in the ring and just let them rule. Formed from Rika Tatsumi's quest to bring back the real Masao, Miyu Watanabe and Rika Tatsumi in their 2nd ever pure tag team match, as a team, beat Neo Bishigun to win the Princess Tag Team belts. This reign is the longest tag reign in TJPW history, where they defeated B-Star, Makito and Raku, Shoko Nakajima and Hyper Masao, before losing to Yukiano and Tenma in their 2nd attempt for the belts. Daydream would get their win back, however, later in the finals of the Max Hard tournament, where they went on to win the entire tournament. Rika Tatsumi and Miyu Watanabe teaming together flows so well, especially knowing how crazy Rika can get and how comedic it can get, seeing Miyu Watanabe cower in fear when Rika starts beating her up or trying to use her as a weapon or just use her opponent as a weapon against her. When they do wrestle together as a team, more coherent team, when they're cohesive, with impressive tag moves and just being a great obstacle for teams to overcome. If Rika Tatsumi is to be believed, then Daydream is no more. But all dragons do lie, however. Number 7, the Briscoes. It's hard to talk about great tag teams, especially in North America, and not mention the Briscoes. 13-time ROH Tag Team Champions, IWGP Tag Team Champions, multiple-time independent wrestling tag team champions. They had incredible matches from their humble beginnings to the very last match. Going back and watching the Briscoes really shows how much they got wrestling when fighting guys like Steen and Generico, Motor City Machine Guns, FTR, Aussie Open, LAX, even the Young Bucks. You look at the promos they were producing as well, which felt real and gritty and felt like you were being teleported back in time to see these rough and gritty men who just want to knock you out. Sadly, Mark and Jay Briscoe will never team again due to Jay Briscoe's untimely passing, but the truth remains the same. The Briscoes are one of the greatest tag teams of this generation. Rest in peace, Jay Briscoe. You will be missed. Number 6, Las Cachorras Orientales. Hopefully I said that right. Spanish for, and I quote, the Oriental Bitches, which I will simply just be calling them LCO for short for the remainder of this entry. Etsuko Mita and Mima Shimoda, also Akira Hokuto, but for the sake of this list, we're only focusing on Mita and Mima for this, were women with attitude who could easily render you past tense. Mita and Mima were both in highly successful tag teams before with Dream Orca and Tokyo Sweethearts respectively, but both arguably had their best and greatest success after an excursion over in Mexico with Hokuto, where they formed LCO in 1992, where they won several tag championships like the JWP, WWA, and UWA tag team titles. They have had major success as a team with all-time great matches, all the way up to the pair's final match in 2009, making a one-time only return in 2017 for Manami Toyota's retirement gauntlet. LCO was brash and in your face, something Joshi Wrestling and really all of the wrestling world at the time was prepared to embrace. Number 5, the Kings of Wrestling. Claudio Castagnoli and Chris Hero having the tag name of the Kings of Wrestling is probably the best fitting team name on this list due to the skill both of these men involve. The Kings of Wrestling was formed all the way back in 2005 after Chris Hero turned on Mike Quackenbush in the finals of the Shikara Tag World Grand Prix to help Eric Cannon and Claudio Castagnoli win and usher in the Kings of Wrestling. For the sake of this entry, since the Kings of Wrestling was more so like a whole unit, a whole stable, for the sake of this, we'll only be focusing on Hero and Claudio's partnership, but that's how we got here, just to explain the history. Claudio and Hero reigned over the independent tag team wrestling scene on and off for like 13 years with great matches from the two in Shikara, PWG, ROH, Noah, JCW, and CZW. In 2018, the pair had their final interaction together on video as of recording in an untelevised event. Claudio, now Cesaro in the day we saved Chris Hero, now Cassius Ohno, from a beatdown from the Undisputed Era in Daiwi's NXT. Both men are now working in AEW in some way, with Claudio being an on-screen wrestler with the BCC, while Chris Hero is a backstage producer and wrestling part-time. Hopefully one day we get the Kings of Wrestling back in the ring, even if it is for one more night. But even if this is the end of their journey, the end of their time as a tag team, we can acknowledge the greatness both men have and their contributions to tag team wrestling. Number 4, Mahime. You know what tag team is loved and appreciated when their one and only tag title reign only lasts 70 days or about, and people still talk about them. 3 years, Mahime reigned as a part of the Donna Del Mondo stable and won the Artists of Stardom and Gods of Stardom belts when teaming. Micah and Himeka were the perfect blend of power, seriousness, and comedy, with their sapphic-coated friendship being thinly and not so thinly veiled over the years of them teaming together, and countless matches for the Goddess of Stardom belts, and just teaming together in general. They both worked as a force of nature all the way up to their last match as a team, where they lost to ALK, Julia and Shuri, all of them being former stablemates, unless you want to count the tag gauntlet for Himeka's retirement. Debate that with a wall. Mahime will never return, sadly, but the memories of the Crimson Empress and her Jumbo Princess, the memories that they both gave us together, will never be forgotten. Number 3, Violence is Forever. The best tag team in independent wrestling right now, argue with a wall. Sadcomp, Violence is Forever, Dominic Garrini and Kevin Koo, whatever you want to call them, they are the best. All the way back in 2018, these two started their journey as a tag team, starting in Black Label Pro, and they have went everywhere from Beyond, GCW, MLW, DPW, Action, just to name a few. They've won multiple championships together as a team. Like, they're the current GCW Tag Team Champions as of recording, DPW Tag Champions, Action, SUP, C4 Tag Team Champions. Like, they've held all those, and they also hold the reign for the longest championship reign of any belt in Black Label Pro history at 762 days as your tag team champions. Dominic Garrini and Kevin Koo are two stand-up guys as well, and just two wrestlers I point to when I talk about independent wrestling in America. They're a bright spot for independent wrestling in America, and also their theme is sick. I like to sing it a lot, as you can tell.
In your head!
Number 2, Daisy Monkey. Recency bias? Possibly. Are Suzume and Arisu Endo worthy of this accolade? Hell yeah, they are. For only about 3 years have Daisy Monkey really been an official team, but both Suzume and Endo have been so cohesive as a pair that I have to give them this spot. As a team in peril, they flourish, making you eat out of the palm of their hand when they're selling, in the facials that they put on. Like, when all hope is lost, they make you worried that it's going to be the end for them. And like I said, when all hope is lost, they fight back. Even in a match you don't think they're going to win, they make you believe, even if it's just for a moment, just for a split second. That pure underdog babyface energy leads to them becoming one of TJPW's most popular acts, and them winning the Max Hard tournament and the Princess Tag Team Championships. They remind me almost of the Rock and Roll Express in a way, of getting tag team wrestling down to almost a science. At the height of their popularity, there was probably no other team, possibly, like, at least in North America, that was better than the Rock and Roll Express. And everything that they did in the matches was for that satisfying comeback, that satisfying babyface fiery comeback that made the crowd go nuclear, that made you believe that they were going to win even if they were getting beat up the entire time, because they were just that good at their job. You want to see both teams win because they made you believe even when you shouldn't have believed. And Daisy Monkey is probably the most modern equivalent to that. Daisy Monkey take their place on this list. And number 1, Edge and Christian. The greatest tag team ever, in my opinion. Edge and Christian were childhood friends who came together and became one of the most decorated tag teams in the WWF/WWE history. Help usher in a new era together for tag team wrestling in WWE, and their work just solely throughout 1999 to 2001, which is like their main years, of course, despite only being 3 years of work, for that alone made them stand out due to how willing they were to go all the way, their natural charisma, and how you can go from laughing to them and nearly falling over laughing and crying because of how funny and how charismatic they were, but also taking them seriously as a threat because you knew they could go. They won 8 championships together as a team from the WWF to the independent circuit too before they joined the WWF. There are many teams now that you can argue that can take that throne, and I really do hope we do get a reunion between Edge and Christian in AEW at least one final time. But as I see it now, due to everything I mentioned about how versatile they are and how they make you feel and believe in them, like their work with the Hardy Boys, their work with the Dudleys, their work throughout, like I said, that 99 to 2001 period where they were just consistently having some of the best matches in company history, like at Mania, X7, No Mercy. Like, they really ushered in, like, a lot of the teams now in North American wrestling are definitely inspired by them or take a lot of inspiration from them, and just the influence they have over the wrestling landscape, and not just independent wrestling, but also wrestling and more of the major companies. For everything that they've done, in my opinion, Edge and Christian are the greatest tag team ever. Thank you all so much for watching. Buy W and use code SlapViperLLC at checkout for 10% off your W order. Donate to my coffee below if you want. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. This is Quincy of SlapViperLLC, and I will talk to you all later. Take care.